Here is my story on how I broke my jaw. I woke up to a broken jaw on May 18th after a night out drinking with a male coworker. Open gash on my chin so deep that you could see my bone. My jaw was broken this way and completely detached right here. My teeth had almost completely bitten through my lip, my bottom one sliding through the inside. I have a huge amount of scar tissue right here. There's stitches all in here, all down here, and then my front top teeth bit through. I don't know if you can see the scar tissue. My front tooth completely came out, root and all, and then I chipped my other front tooth, and there is a molar that is chipped on the inside. That was all of my injuries though. I didn't break any other bones, didn't crack my fingers, I had nails on, didn't lose a nail, just a lot of bruising. On Saturday night, May 17th, me and my coworker decided to go out for drinks after work. Yes, he was a male. Yes, it was our first time hanging out. Yes, that was my first mistake. We decided to go to a bar that my friend was working at. When we arrived to the bar, it was completely empty. There was like no one there and my friend was leaving. So the three of us left together in one car to go to a new club. The line was really long. My friend didn't want to wait, so she left me and my coworker there, which I never, ever blamed her for or was mad at her for or felt any type of way towards. Me and my coworker finally make our way inside the club after waiting like 25 minutes, and we immediately head to the bar. He orders us 2 shots each and a tequila soda, and that is literally the only thing I remember from that entire night. I will say that we were drinking in the car before we got to the bar, so I did not get there stone cold sober. I have never in my life ever blacked out before. I always know my limits when I'm drinking, and I don't do any sort of drugs or anything else like that. I'm literally 90% of the time a sober sister. So this was so unlike me. Everything that happened this night, I feel like was so out of character for everyone that was involved. Everyone was acting so weird. I can't even explain it. I'll go into that deeper in a different video because I'm just trying to keep this as a story time. It's such a long story. This was my first time ever blacking out, and it was also my first time ever going out alone with a man. I wake up in the morning on May 18th to a text from my coworker saying, "Here is my story on how I broke my jaw." Days go by and I don't hear anything from the police. Mind you, my coworker texted me again, checking up on me, asking if I was okay. We called the detective days later and we're like, "Hey, anything?" They say they went to the club to get the footage, but they got new security systems on the 21st, so all that footage is gone. I broke my jaw on the 18th. So all that footage is gone. I think clubs don't like sharing footage because it makes them look bad. They don't want to be known as the place where I got roofied, taken home and assaulted, and woke up with a broken jaw. You know what I mean? They don't want any smoke. So they got a new system. Could the police have pushed harder? I don't know. Do they actually care? Probably not. My detective was also a fucking man, So they're like, "So that's out of the board. Like, a drug test would really help." And we're like, "Well, we tried to get a drug test. The hospital didn't test us. A hair test, maybe we can go that route, hoping that they would help with the expenses, because it's like $700 for a fucking hair test. We're on our own. We're on our own with that. Hospital won't help. The police won't help. Insurance won't help. No one's going to help us cover the hair test." So then we're like, "Well, did you pull my coworker in? Did you get his side of the story?" He was like, "We reached out to him. He said he was going to come in. He never did. This was days ago." So that's it. That's it. They didn't keep trying to contact him. They didn't, like, the police don't fucking care. They don't care about anything. They didn't care about answers. They didn't care about me. They didn't try at all. You know what I mean? And this is exactly why I didn't even want to go to the police in the first place. Because I know that they're so fucking useless. They don't do anything, ever. Especially for a woman. And especially for a colored woman. So that really pissed me off. And it was just, like, confusing to me. I was getting really confused with why my coworker wasn't just telling us what happened to me that night. Like, what happened that you cannot tell us? And I remember I was texting him and I was trying to get the story from him. I have a boyfriend, and I didn't know if anything happened between me and my coworker that night. So I was trying to get that out of him. And by doing so, I was kind of setting it up to be like, you know, my boyfriend's really upset with me. Did you tell him what we did that night? My boyfriend knew all this. We were just trying to get my coworker and see if he would admit that something happened. And he said, "No, I didn't tell him anything, but do you remember now?" And I was like, oh my god, like, did something fucking happen? Because I don't remember. And when we told the police that, they told me to stop contacting him. So we didn't go any further with that, even though I think I could have got something out of him. The whole thing really stresses me out because we don't know when I fell and broke my jaw, right? He could have got me home and I could have immediately fell and broke my jaw. Or he could have got me home, he could have done something to me. I could have been going to the bathroom and then fell and broke my jaw. Do you know what I mean? We don't know anything because he wouldn't tell us the fucking story. So now I'm really getting, like, stressed out and pissed off at the fact that I'm not getting any answers and it looks like I'll never get closure. The drug test fell through. I didn't do the grape kit. Which, ladies, if you're ever even debating on doing a grape kit, just do it. Like, if I could go back in time and do it, I would. Like, I wish I had done it, and I really wish that we pushed for the drug test, but whatever. After the detective calls me and tells me that my coworker never showed up for questioning, my coworker then hits me up again to see how I'm doing. And he's like, you know, I know you went to the police. I don't blame you for that. I want you to know that I am going to be going in, giving my statement. I wasn't supposed to be talking to him. In some way, hearing that he was going to finally say his side of the story brought me some sort of peace. And I was like, maybe I'll finally know what happened to me. And he even said, he was like, I hate that you will never get the closure that you need. What do you mean you hate I'll never get it? You can fucking give it to me. Like, you can tell me every single thing that happened that night. Unless you magically don't remember anymore either. Like, it was like he was just playing games. He doesn't understand, like, I broke my jaw. My life has been on pause for the last 6 weeks. Literally was couch ridden for 2 weeks. I couldn't even move. I was crying. I was having panic attacks. Like, and he's saying, I'm sorry, you'll never get the closure you need. You can give that to me. It doesn't make any sense. So whatever, that was the last time I heard from him, and that was the last time I heard from the detective, and that was literally the last time I heard from everyone involved. That is the confusing, underwhelming story on how I broke my jaw. I don't know. Like, long story short, I do not know how I broke my jaw because I do not remember and no one will get answers for me. I think I just have to live the rest of my life not knowing what happened to me that night. There's good and bad in it. I truly appreciate the fact that I don't remember the fall. I can't even imagine the pain of breaking your jaw in 2 places, biting through your lip, gashing your chin open, losing your teeth. I also had bruises on my chest, on my hands, on my knees. So the fall adds up. The fall makes sense. I don't think he pushed me. I don't think he punched me. I don't think I rejected him and he got angry. There's so many theories, like, in my little circle. Not that we'll ever know what was true. I genuinely do think I probably tripped and fell. I guess. I don't know. That's what I'm going to keep telling myself because we'll never know at this point, so we can make up any sort of story about what happened. One day I will process this and it will hit me really hard. And I fear the days that comes because in my mind, I think I protect myself from a lot of things by just blocking it out and not paying any sort of attention to it. That's what I've been doing with the situation, and every time someone would try to get me to talk deeper about it, I would just close it off. I don't do well with processing emotions. Moral of the story, don't trust a man, don't go drinking with men alone, take the rape kit, push the drug test, and really just take care of yourself, push for the things that you need. I wish that I advocated for myself louder and stronger and harder. And I'm so grateful that I had such a great support system with me. I'm so grateful and so lucky because I would not have been able to get through this really difficult situation without them. And to this day, I really can't believe that it happened to me. When I tell you I had the mindset that nothing bad would ever happen to me ever. But life works in very mysterious ways. I genuinely think this was a lesson that I had to learn, and I always learn lessons the hard way. I hope that me sharing my experience can provide comfort and peace and maybe inspiration for other people in their experience. I know there's a lot of victims out there who don't believe in justice. And although I didn't get justice through police, I do think that karma always has a way of making its rounds and everyone will get what they deserve in the end. I'm grateful for all of you guys for just caring about my story and wanting to hear it, and I hope that this video kind of makes it more clear on what happened. And if you want to hear more about my recovery experience and how I've just been coping with everything, I post videos about that.